This is the topic I probably get asked more than any other topic to talk about, and I tend to avoid it because, as I was venting to a friend one day, I didn't want to be a single homeschool mom. I wanted to be a married homeschool mom, and she gently reminded me that all single parents feel that way, and that is why it is so important to talk about. So here it is, the key things I had to change in order to thrive as a single homeschool mother. I'm going to start with the one that I get asked about the most frequently because it demands some explaining, and that is just how I make it financially. I'm going to share the biggest key ways that I make money and the biggest key ways that I save money, because if you're like the average person, you'll need to do both. But first, I do want to explain that the primary reason I don't talk about this a lot is because it depends on so much. Is the other parent of your children supportive of homeschooling to begin with? Do you get paid child support? Do you get paid alimony? My ex-husband is supportive of homeschooling, which is a major reason I am able to do it. So just know that if you are in a more difficult position, my heart goes out to you, and I can only speak for my own experience. So how do I make money as a single stay-at-home mom? I have this online business, but that is not yet, I hope it one day will be, pray it one day will be, I'm working that it one day will be, my main source of income. I work 4 days a week waiting tables. I think that serving is one of the most underrated jobs. If you can find in your town or a nearby town a busy restaurant with a higher dollar sign next to the food, you would not believe what you can make in a 5-hour shift. I know a lot of you want to be able to work from home if you homeschool. Even if I did, I would probably want a sitter or some sort of help over for a couple hours a day to play with the kids when I'm not homeschooling them, because the reality is I get a lot more work done that way. I know nobody in the homeschool community wants to hear that said, but that's just reality. If you're able to focus uninterrupted, you get more done. Similarly, I am a better homeschool mom if I'm not trying to simultaneously work while I'm homeschooling them. When I'm at work, I'm totally at work, and when I'm with my kids, I'm totally with my kids. Now, the next question that typically comes with me explaining that I work outside the home is, how do you afford a babysitter? Guys, in-home nannies are so expensive. I've worked as an in-home nanny for years. They're going to charge you an hourly rate, and what you make it work will be a complete wash. So this is the hack that I figured out that no one told me about, that I wish someone had told me from the beginning. Here's how you find affordable childcare. Find a Facebook group for babysitting in your city and ask around if there is someone who will watch your kids in their home at a daycare rate. It's likely going to be between $15 and $35 per child for the entire day, sometimes including food. This allows me to bring home a profit from work. And yes, I have been able to find people willing to do this on second shift. That tip right there, oh my gosh, saved me. There are lots of lucrative businesses out there. There are lots of things you can do online as a freelancer. I'm just sharing with you my experience because that is all I know. I also want to say that waiting tables and working an online business, these things were not the first things I tried. There's a whole long story that I will spare you from of trying jobs that did not work. Okay, I've done house cleaning, that was a nightmare. I did in-home nanny jobs where I brought my kids and tried homeschooling them at the same time as taking care of other people's children. That was a nightmare. I've tried grocery delivery and DoorDash. Those were nightmares. Like, not only were those things not going well and very stressful, but they weren't making us enough money either. If I could go back, I would go straight to waiting tables. Moving on, how do I keep a clean house? And this is difficult whether or not you are married. This is just difficult if you have children in general, right? We've heard all the different strategies and tactics for keeping a clean house, and the reality is your house is only clean if you clean it. But the other reality is we don't want to miss our kids' childhood or make it so that they never feel like they can get all the coloring and Play-Doh stuff out and be kids. So like with most things, I've found that the truth about keeping a clean home is somewhere in between. The thing that has made our house not squeaky clean perfect, but functional is really the key word for how I would describe our household. And guys, I live in an 800 square foot apartment. It's not like it's easy to keep it clean without effort. So we do have a system where one child is responsible for keeping the living room clean, the other child keeps their shared bedroom clean. I keep the kitchen and my bedroom clean. We tag team everything else. And again, that makes our home functional. It does not make it perfectly clean all the time. The other half of what makes our home functional is that I embrace the chaos. I know how cheesy this sounds, but when you see your little boy or your little girl's Lego stuff everywhere or their coloring stuff everywhere, there will be a last time that you clean it up, and then they'll be too old for it and they won't do it again. And it is heartbreaking. I actually remember the last time that I asked my little boy if he wanted to play with his Hot Wheels track, and he said, "Mom, I don't really care to play with Hot Wheels cars anymore." I don't know the last time that I helped him clean up his Hot Wheels, but I'm still sad about it. So the advice for keeping a house clean of if you want your house clean, you have to clean it, and also embracing the chaos and recognizing that one day you will miss the crafts and projects and games that your kids had out. Those can exist simultaneously. There will be seasons and times and days for embracing both. Self-care. How do I take really excellent care of myself as a single homeschool working mom? I've been on a weight loss journey for about 3 years now. I have got off and kept off about 26 pounds from my top weight. I also deal with chronic migraines and have always just generally been a person with kind of low immunity. I get sick very easily, tired a lot. So first I'm going to share my routine, and then I'll share kind of some mindset myths to get over that have helped me significantly. So for my diet, I typically fast through breakfast. If I eat breakfast, it's either some fruit or it's some organic yogurt that I sweeten myself with organic maple syrup. I eat protein, dairy, fruits, and vegetables. I technically can eat corn and rice. I try to eat very little just because I still have weight loss goals, but they do not irritate my system or my migraines if I have them. I do not eat sugar, gluten, aspartame, or any other kind of artificial sweetener. I don't eat nuts. For my lunches, I love the famous Tiffany mustard plate that got huge on TikTok over the past year or so. I make apple chicken sausage a lot, and then I just throw on whatever cheeses, fruits, vegetables sound good that day. Fresh mozzarella, fresh brie, strawberries, grapes, carrots, celery. I make homemade honey mustard to dip it in. Then dinners are sometimes the same thing. I do eat a lot of steak, which is one thing I love about the diet. And if you put the effort in, you'll find you can still have a lot of like extravagant, delicious foods. So a lot of times I'll have like a medium rare steak with cooked asparagus or Brussels sprouts on the side for my dinner. I buy Lily's chocolate when I have a sweet tooth craving because there's no sugar in it. It is sweetened with stevia. For exercise right now, just because of our budget, I exercise at home. My treadmill is actually back there for cardio. I do a no weights total body workout, so push-ups, crunches, squats, lunges. I only work out for about an hour twice a week right now. Before I worked out 4 to 6 days a week, but right now my business is my priority, even a little bit over exercise. So I'm more in maintenance mode, plus I walk a lot as a server. The two biggest objections to eating well that I hear and that I used for a long time are I don't have time to prepare food and I don't have money to eat healthy. However, when I really stopped and thought about how long I sit in a fast food drive-through, it wasn't much longer than it takes to throw that plate of meat, fruits, and vegetables together. In fact, sometimes it's longer. And when I thought on an average what I spend to go through the fast food drive-through, my plate was about the same or a little cheaper. The reality of what makes eating well the hardest is biological cravings. I've had an emotional dependency on food in the past, where it felt like fighting a craving was the least of my priorities because I was so busy and I couldn't stand one more painful thing in my life. That pain being not letting myself have the food that I'm craving. But reasons of money and time were simply excuses because it doesn't take me more money and more time to eat the way I do now. The biological cravings have been a matter of being willing to be present and being willing to reparent myself and say, no, I know that it's rough, I know that it's sad, but we don't have to eat this. We can choose to say no and you will be okay. You will be better off long term if you choose the apple, cheese, chicken, sausage, and fruits and vegetable plate, or if you choose the steak and asparagus. Also, I want to say it has been proven that biological cravings can only last 5 to 10 minutes. So you only have to tell yourself no for short periods of time before you get physical relief from the craving. I hope that these insights and sharing my experience with you has been beneficial and valuable for you. I've waited a long time to make this video because I wanted to be honest. I feel like when I looked for videos from single homeschool moms, first of all, there was hardly any. And second, a lot of them were promising extravagant amounts of money that in reality, most of us aren't going to get when we launch our first business or start working online or decide even to become a freelancer. Most of us need our kids to have a way to get food today while we build something. And so this is how I've been able to do that. Truly, I have been able to build, by God's grace, a beautiful life with my children. We live humbly, we live below our means, and I make major sacrifices so that this business, this online business and homeschooling can be the priority above all else. And I wouldn't have it any other way. If you want to learn more about how I manage my time effectively, because obviously things can feel incredibly overwhelming when you're a solo parent, be sure to check out my totally free video class, Homeschooling Excellent Time Management, below. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.